Item G, adopt resolution approving new red curb no parking zones to accommodate the turning movements of emergency fire vehicles at the intersections of Huntington Avenue East with Scott Street and with South Bayshore Circle, and the intersections of North Bayshore Circle with Atlantic Avenue, and the intersection of Huntington Avenue East with Pacific Avenue.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm before you tonight to recommend an action to implement some new parking restrictions in the neighborhood that was described. So we're talking about the neighborhood east of Huntington, bounded basically by Tanforan and 380. So in that neighborhood, we have a siding road next to Huntington called Huntington Avenue East. It's only 19 feet wide. And as part of the proactive evaluation of the safety of our community, the fire department has looked at that neighborhood and said, really, they have constrained conditions there to be able to maneuver their fire safety vehicles. And so they came to engineering and requested that we evaluate whether it would be appropriate to adopt some new parking restrictions. So the specific request that they brought forward was to limit parking for the first 20 feet from each side of the returns at 4 intersections. And so what staff did is we evaluated that. We used turning templates, design tools, and what we confirmed is that, in fact, based upon the size of the fire vehicles that we have, that we really should be restricting parking probably for between 40 or 60 feet. So in consultation with fire, they really believe that balancing the needs in the community to really try and preserve parking, that they'd like to start with removing 20 feet. And so that is the recommendation that we're carrying forward. The matter was sent before the TSPC at their May meeting. We noticed the neighborhood. We had 5 members of the public that showed up, 2 members that spoke. One member really acknowledged that they've seen difficulty with garbage trucks making the turns and really believe that this is an appropriate action to take. There was another member of the public who was concerned about the loss of parking in their neighborhood, and so I committed to work with South San Francisco to look at expanding parking on Tanforan Avenue. I've since contacted the city of South San Francisco, and I'm in conversations to see what we can do to increase the available on-street parking in that neighborhood. So the specific 4 intersection we're talking about, the first at the southern end is Huntington East and Scott Street. And so here's a depiction of what 20 feet of red curb would look like. We're talking about 14 specific locations, but because of locations of existing driveways and some existing fire hydrants, we're talking about the reduction of 9 parking spaces by implementing these recommended changes. The next location is at Huntington and South Bayshore. The third is at North Bayshore and Atlantic. And then lastly at Huntington and Pacific. So for those 4 locations, recommending removing 20 feet of parking. So that concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions from council? Action from council?
Through the chair, it's just a shame that whole neighborhood was designed with such narrow streets and everything, but I think this will help. I'll introduce the resolution.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Ibarra.
Aye.
Councilmember O'Connell.
Aye.
Councilmember Medina.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Ruane.
Aye.
Mayor Franzella.
Aye.